I think there's a few people who like, call me maybe ruthless in the chat. I think it's because like, you got like this very, very wrong idea about how a streamer or a VTuber rather is always nice. Always like talking to you with a soothing voice. Always like, with a high pitch kind of tone. And I think it's just because like you kind of forgot like at the end of the day, like, this is entertainment for the people who do like, those kind of content where they are just all the time nice. All the time being like, oh no, my poor baby, poor you, boo-hoo. And I think you kind of forgot like, not do that because like, that's, a good like, point to set yourself as, look at me, I'm so good. I'm being so nice with you all the time. And then like, at the end of the day, like, you realize just, how terrible like, they were like, when some DMs are being leaked. I think at the end of the day, you should just, enjoy a streamer for just, simply how they are. And you should also accept like, the negative aspect for like, some of them, such as me, where I have like a really short temper. I'm very impatient. I can be cold, but that's not who I am all the time. I think actually like, among like a lot of people, I'm actually maybe like, one of the most honest one you can like, ever watch. And it's because like, I'm not scared of telling you what I think about things because I'm very blunt and I cannot lie. I'm very bad at lying. Because of that, it's either you like it and you stay, or you don't like it and you just, go and, chew on something that is entirely fake and sweet. And, at the end of the day, we're all here, like, for entertaining you. And you get to decide, like, whether or not you want this kind of content. And it's perfectly fine if you want to eat, like, sweet all the time and not enjoy, like, some salt the other days. I think that's also, like, why maybe I don't have, like, a lot of friends. Especially not women. Like, for women friends, I do have a few. And, they are really cool because, like, we are honest with each other's. But most of the girls I used to be friends with, I think at some point they just decided to stop talking to me because, I would be way too honest with them. If they're like, crying to me because like, they got like, a heartbroken, I'd be like, stop being a little you've been crying for already like, 5 months, just move on. You're better than this. For some woman, they'd be like, oh no, I hate her. She's been so mean to me because she told me to stop being a little and I'm like, yeah, at least I'm telling you to the face. I'm not like, going into your back, and, telling others, oh my gosh, she's such a little I would tell you, like, to your face. I know, like, some, like, other girls, like, a long time ago, before I became a VTuber, she was like, do I look fat in this cloth? And I'm like, yeah, you look really fat. And, like, they'd be like, ah! And I'm like, you either change clothes or you gotta lose some weight, piggy. No, I didn't call them piggy. I'd be not like, calling them fat. I'd be like, yeah, that doesn't make you look like, thin. I would like, rather go with like, the opposite direction of forming my words. I think it's like, I'm like this because of my father. My father was always honest with me. And I think I just became like him. So every time I'm being a bitch, my mom is like, you're like your father. You're such a and I'm like, I know. At the end of the day, I feel like, less bad about being honest with somebody rather than just lying to their face and, talking in their back. Never go wrong with the truth. I mean, there is instances like, where you need to lie to protect somebody. When we played at Wolf Among Us and we didn't want to show like, the picture to Snow White because we knew she would get like, way too obsessed about like, this piece of shit. And it's literally what happened. She got obsessed about him. So, we did good to not show her the picture. It's always like under like different circumstances, but sometimes lying or just not telling entirely the truth can be better. If it's meant like to protect your friend, of course.